All right, everybody. So, welcome back to another episode of Queries from the Multiverse. And I have a really special guest with me actually today. I have somebody that I met through Ben and kind of has helped me and had me, help me with this channel and growing the channel since Ben has passed. And really wanted to get him on here and talk to him. So, let's bring him on. Soda, man, it's
Hey,
great to have you on the show, man.
yeah, it's good to be here. Good to be here. I was wondering when I was going to be on.
No, you were definitely one of the first people I wanted to get on here. But yeah, man. So really, what this is about is just kind of get to kind of know you and introduce everybody to you, and
Mhm.
that kind of thing, and get to know more about you and just kind of how you got into this. So let's start off with kind of basic. Where did you grow up? Mom, dad, siblings, that kind of thing.
Well, okay. So I was born in Gatineau, Quebec, which is across the river from Ottawa, capital of the country. But I grew up in a small town called Terrace, British Columbia. Um, it's about 2 hours from the Pacific Ocean. Very
You're West
beautiful.
Coast.
I'm very West Coast. Yes, I'm
Gotcha.
surrounded by mountains here. I practically live in a rainforest. Gorgeous, gorgeous area. And then in my 20s, I moved to Vancouver for about 6 years. Did that, and then I came back, and I've been in my hometown ever since.
Okay, gotcha. So any brothers, sisters, anything?
That's an interesting thing. So
Okay.
I'm an only child, but technically a middle child. Just when unfortunately I do have a brother and sister, but they both died at birth. My sister
Oh my
was
goodness.
my sister was born a little person, but her insides were even smaller. So there was no way she would have survived outside of an incubator. So she lasted 3 days. And then my brother, unfortunately, he just wasn't formed here. So I mean, everything else was formed, but there just was nothing in there. So they had to, right? Um, yeah. What's interesting is if he would have been alive, like if he'd have lived, he probably would have been. You would have been a tall son of a bitch. It would have been a tall son of a bitch. There would have been me in the middle, and then there would have been my sister. Would have been tiny. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, I'm so sorry though. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not something I'm actually kind of open about it, but I've never talked about it on screen, oddly enough. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So from there, so what got you into the kind of geek world? Was it wrestling that caught your eye first,
Oh,
or
you mean like what got me into just like all things?
anything? Yeah, all this. Yeah, all this
Well,
craziness.
like the first movie that I truly remember like clicking with me for oh wow was
Okay.
Jurassic Park. I saw that when it first run. I would have been like 6 years old,
Sure.
6, 7 years old. So it got me at the right age. So that was the first one that kind of like holy shit, what's this? And then from there, I just growing up, we would go to my grandparents' place, watch movies. I had my own TV in my room. I would, so I was watching a lot of content. And then when I was about, even though I was a wrestling fan from very young, I didn't truly become a wrestling fan until I was about 13. So that's when I got into that. And then while of course I liked the old superhero movies and whatever, I watched them all the time. It wasn't until I was 19 that I started reading comic books truly. So that's when I started reading Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run and all that stuff. And then slowly, when I just started getting on the internet more, is when I started finding all these things. And then Screen Junkies. I remember it was when The Force Awakens came out. And I was trying at that time. I was so into like geek stuff that I would try whenever a movie came out that I saw in the theaters. I would come home and I would try to find everything on it. So I came across the movie fights. And that's how I got introduced to Ken Napzok and Dan Murrell, and then that's how I heard about the Schmodown, which I had checked out previously for one match, but it was the old format, so I just didn't get into it. I think it's because it was Clark Wolf that got me to look that up. Anyways, and then I heard about the Schmo, like I truly heard about the Schmodown there, and then I was hooked ever since. That would have been the first Spectacular. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Spectacular. And then that's how I got into all the communities and all that stuff. And that's basically how I ended up here.
Gotcha. No, that's great. So Jurassic Park started it all. I think that really started
Basically,
it all for everybody, man. I
yeah,
mean,
if you're of a certain age, 100%.
yeah,
And then, yeah, as you can tell, it kicked off a lifelong love. But yeah, no, if you grew up during the 90s with movies like that and Independence Day and Armageddon
oh sure,
and Con Air and like, I mean, oh, we had some good stuff.
oh, we had great stuff in the 90s, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of more, you know, obviously kind of what got me into everything was more of, you know, He-Man, Star Wars, that kind of stuff. But yeah, what kept everything going was the 90s, man, because after 89 Batman, it kind of went downhill with that. And then
Yeah.
there was just other kind of crazy stuff like Blank Man. That was a crazy movie.
Yeah,
That was really
I
fun.
remember that. A movie you couldn't make today.
Oh no, definitely not now. But yeah, it was that kind of weird
Meteor
stuff.
Man. You remember that one?
Oh, Meteor Man, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Robert Townsend, is that his name?
I think so. I believe so.
Yeah, I do remember that movie.
Yeah, I remember it was a school teacher got hit by a meteor, gave him powers. Yeah.
Yep. Crazy stuff.
I really dug the suit. I thought the suit was pretty cool.
Oh, dude, he was cool looking. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so where did you said wrestling kind of came in later? So what kind of era? So Attitude Era, is that where you were?
That's exactly. So when it comes to wrestling, so like I said, I've been a fan since I was a little kid, but that's because my dad had bought me those old LJN rubber action figures. I don't know if you know those.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he bought me the one from the Canada only run, which I actually just recently found out.
I had Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the Ultimate Warrior. I had Hogan. I had who did I have? I had Piper. I had Rude.
Piper, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm like, my mom got mad at me for not cleaning up and threw them all out when I was about 7-8 years old. My dad was pissed.
I bet.
Yeah. But yeah, so there was that. So of course, I have memories of watching like WCW Saturday Night. Like I knew who Cactus Jack was. I have a memory of walking into a cousin's house one time and seeing Dusty Rhodes in 1990 on the screen. Like I don't know why that's stuck in my head.
Sure.
And then I would occasionally, my parents would let me rent the wrestling tape. And then as I started getting older, I would rent more and more wrestling tapes. But then all of a sudden, when we got more cable channels up here, like up in Canada, where I lived, up until I was about 12 years old, I guess, we only had 13 channels.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so unless you had satellite, unless you were fancy, that's all you had. But then all of a sudden, they expanded cable, so all of a sudden I was able to watch Monday Night Raw and WCW Monday Nitro live for the first time. And that is when Triple H and Cactus Jack were having their legendary feud. Sure. And that's what got me hooked, because obviously I knew who Mick Foley was, big fan from all the stuff I'd watched. And Triple H was the most hated heel at the time. That's why he's one of my favorite wrestlers. Yeah, their feud, it just got me, and I've been hooked, like really hooked ever since.
Sure. No, I remember that time period, man, because you had all the Triple H, you had what was it, X Factor, X-Pac, and all them.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. Like before we were on here, I was just watching WWE's Most Wanted Treasures, which is basically like a treasure hunter show, but for WWE memorabilia, because at some point they're going to open up a physical Hall of Fame, because if you watch videos,
wow, they don't have one already?
For some reason, no.
That is weird.
Yeah. It's very weird. Like you can actually watch videos of their WWE archives in their warehouse, and some of the stuff they have there, they still have the SmackDown fist.
Okay.
They still have that. They have coffins from the Undertaker. They have Andre the Giant's WrestleMania 3 ring gear. They have have outfits from Gorgeous fucking George.
I was gonna say, just the outfits alone, they've got to have tons of them, right?
Totally, yeah. Like they got so much stuff. Like they got a lot of Andre stuff in particular. They've got statues from back in the day. They still have the blimp that they used to fly in the arenas in the mid-90s.
Okay.
They have old sets. Like my God, like it's the guy who runs it, Ben Brown. He literally has the best job in the world.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, that's got to be the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
But the fact that they don't have a Hall of Fame is weird. I would. Mm-hmm. That's
what they do is like they have the big four, which is Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So what they do is on those weekends, I don't know if they do that with Survivor Series, but they definitely do it with the other three. They have these weekends. They make it a big event, basically.
Sure.
They're there for the day, the show before the pay-per-view and the show after the pay-per-view premium light event, whatever you want to fucking call it. So what they do is they have like their own version of a convention. So that's when these things get brought out.
Gotcha.
So it's more like a traveling Hall of Fame in a way, but yeah, they should definitely have a physical Hall of Fame, man. That place would be busy.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Oh, for sure. I mean, that's a huge sport. I mean, yeah.
Like they have Pat Patterson's Intercontinental Championship, the first Intercontinental Championship.
Okay.
Like, yeah, and to see how far wrestling belts have come.
Oh well, yeah, definitely.
Like back then, they looked like pretty much fancy belt buckles.
See, I remember watching in the '80s. You know, because I was born in '82, and again, you know,
okay,
I remember watching, but I have.
You're not that much older than me.
But yeah, so I remember like Hulk Hogan,
totally,
Roddy Piper, and all of them, and then Attitude Era came, and you had like Undertaker and Triple H and The Rock and Stone Cold and all these just insane, crazy like personalities that were coming out in that time period.
I still have this book. I actually stole it from my uncle. But this is the one that introduced me to like what wrestling is.
Okay.
Like, obviously, like I knew who those people are, but this is what it's called: Strange and Amazing Wrestling Stories. Basically, it is stories and feuds of the era. It's got Kerry Von Erich and Ric Flair on the cover, but there's feuds that I never heard of, like Hulk Hogan and Big John Studd, and of course, they talked about people like Freddie Blassie, who I didn't know who that was. Haystacks Calhoun, the Fabulous Moolah, Cowboy Bill Watts, and stuff like that, and the Freebirds and what have you. So it introduced me to like the world of wrestling. Like there's more out there.
Oh, right.
I'm never going to get rid of this book. This means something to me.
Oh,
this would be a Horcrux.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah. So how did that transition into? I mean, obviously, once you got to movie fights, I mean, that was one of my favorites. I love that. I actually went the opposite way. I found the schmoes first. Well, I found the reviews first, and then that led into the other shows they did, and then obviously Schmodown.
Yeah.
I found movie fights through Merle, I think, is who.
Which would make sense.
Yeah.
The champ.
And then, but yeah, I mean, so because at that time I wasn't watching wrestling like that, but I immediately understood what he was going for.
Oh, totally. As soon as I saw that first entrance, as soon as I saw that first entrance of the Spectacular, I was like, I got this. I get it.
Right.
Because wrestling fan, and I like to say that I'm an amateur historian, but really I'm just a schmuck. But like I understand the way I look at wrestling. I was able to use that with the Schmodown as well to see it, kind of figure out where Christian was going with all these stuffs. The way I look at wrestling is I kind of look at it analytically in a way. And I was doing the same thing with the Schmodown, and it was a lot of fun for many, many years.
Oh, dude, some of the best stuff. It really was. Yeah, my God, man, there's so many great battles that happened throughout that time.
Like one of my favorites that is still was the Intergeekdom tournament match with Rachel Cushing and Mara Kanopik, where Rachel was sick and Mara had a car accident.
Yes.
And they went to what, like 10 overtime questions or something?
It was sudden death for a while. Yeah, it was for a while.
And neither of them were at 100%, and it left me and a lot of people wanting, like, what can they do at 100%,
There were some people that just took over the league when they came in, man. That were just like Smets when he came in was insane.
That is one good dude. I don't know if you've met him or not, but that is a good dude.
I haven't met Smets. No, we had Kaiser on last night though.
That's another good dude. When I started doing all this, he was our very first guest.
Kaiser,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's when I found out, and then I found out about him and his connection to wrestling, and I was like a kid in a candy store.
Dude, he's one of the coolest people.
Oh, God,
he's such a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess, I guess my question would be, like, what kept you going with the Schmodown? Because there were some downs, and I think it really got actually the best Schmodown. I think the Schmodown we got was actually that last season. I think we finally got to where he wanted it to always
And
be.
that's
It
I
was
had
just too
fallen off
late.
at that point.
Yeah. See,
Um,
I think it was just too late.
yeah, exactly. If those damn COVID years, man, that's
Oh,
what really
it killed it. Yeah.
exactly, it killed it. Um, like a lot of other things. Yeah, no, like I had the greatest passion for it, but it was around my second year of doing this where it was just like it started to feel like a chore, and then there was a lot
Yeah.
of backstage BS and all that shit that kind of it killed it for it literally killed it for me. That I wasn't interested anymore. And then I did come back and watch the very first what the hell was the name of that show they did for the last season?
Oh, something like that. It wasn't
Yeah.
Titans, but it was something. Yes, I know.
I came back and I watched that for one,
Sure.
the first one, and then I watched a pay-per-view, and that was it. Like at the very beginning, and then I was like, I'm done. And the only reason I followed along, I knew what was going on, was because I still followed some of the other people, and
Sure.
Ben, of course.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. Ben really, he wanted to keep that show going, which I was fine with keeping it going, but it just, I wish they would have waited till closer to, what was it, Spectacular was the final thing?
Yeah.
I think it was. I think they should have waited, because once I knew it wasn't going to matter, it kind of lost all importance to me. It was kind of.
I wanted to go back. Like when I heard it was the last one, I wanted to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's just like, when it came, I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it really kind of blew it for me, because there were so many great storylines that they had set up at that point, and I knew they weren't going to go anywhere. So
it had potential, man. It had potential.
It's one of the best things, man, to really.
Oh, totally. And if you go back and you watch like that seasons 4, 5, and 6 stretch, holy shit, was there some good stuff in there. Like literally, if you ask people who enjoy this phone out what their favorite matches are, most of them will come from that 3-year period.
Sure. Dude, I have a hot take on it, man. And I'll tell you, she's not my favorite Schmodown competitor of all time, but I truly believe the best competitor of all time is Rachel Cushing.
Oh yeah,
I think she is the best of all time. I really do. I think if she would have played and kept playing, she would have easily been able to handle Merle and Ruka and all them. Again, I'm not saying she would have stomped them, but she could have easily played against any of them.
She would have hung. She would have been.
Absolutely. She was up there, man.
Oh yeah, no, she's Mount Rushmore for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
I just think she was such a great competitor, and she was
so my favorite moments and do involve her. Like I said, that match,
dude. That Galadriel, when she comes out as Galadriel, is one of the best. It's one of the best.
100%. That is a great song. And then of course it was with her and Clark, but all the stuff with the Shire Wolves, like the Shire Wolves were one of my favorite team. Like we are the league. Oh, still my favorite promo.
Yeah. No, I love Rachel Cushing, man. I really thought that she could have been one of the best players of all time.
She's one of those few from the Schmodown where it's like she got a fan for life in me,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there was a lot of those players early. I feel like when the draft hit is when it sort of got convoluted, because one, there were so many players that not a lot of them even got to play a match, or if they did, it was one. And it was just so hard to follow at that point, I feel like.
Yeah,
so,
it was just like, what can we do next? And it's just like, you could have just left it as is, man.
Yeah, because I feel like when you added all those people, first of all, none of those lower tier people are getting a title shot. Like, they're just not. I mean, they'd have to go on a ridiculous win streak in some way. Yeah. And then the people that are at the top are going to, it's just kind of hard to keep where the standings are, and it became so very convoluted, I think.
Yeah, it kind of did. And then, of course, like we said, then we got to COVID. And while there was some great matches, like 51-50 and all that stuff, that Star Wars tournament, like there was some really good stuff, but it just wasn't the same. And then there was another one thing that killed it for me.
Okay.
It's Schmodown's over, so now I don't give a fuck about talking about this. But it It was a Who's the Boss match. I can't remember who they were playing.
Wasn't it Makuga?
Were you watching live when they had to redo the ending?
I don't think so. No, I don't.
Yeah,
think no.
That's where I was like, holy, that's where something. There's this episode of How I Met Your Mother. It's like where the glass shatters. That was that moment for me when they had the moment, but they had to go back. They redid the moment, and it was like, ooh.
So it was a part of the match, or
yeah, they ended up cutting it out when they debuted it for the rest of everyone. But if you were watching on Patreon, you got to see them redo it ending, and then I found out later that was actually more common than you'd think.
Oh, see, I don't like that.
Yeah, it was like, oh,
that was the one thing I always kind of liked about the Schmodown is that the outcomes were still random.
Yeah, and majority of them were, but there were some where I was like,
oh, see, I don't really like that. That I don't like. That makes me think of like Bespin and
a little
stuff
bit
like that. You know what I mean?
Oh God, yeah, the great ones, Bespin. One of my
one of the biggest ones. Yeah.
One of my favorites is Finn Draco.
Yeah. I mean, one of the best, not even flubs of all time, just insane answers of all time is, what was it, Triceratops?
In the very early days.
Oh my God, yeah, it's one of the greatest ones.
JTE, one of the sweetheart of a man.
One of the best. He really was.
Can't talk.
No, just couldn't talk or spell, but man, he was fun to watch. Yes.
Yeah, Finstock had a few of those as well. What was it? Chadwick.
Oh, Finstock always had mess ups. Yeah. He didn't know anything, though.
Totally. Him and Burnett, that game is just horrible.
Oh, yes, I remember that match. Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, that was bad. Yeah. So, movie fights, because this is something that I tried to pitch to Ben for a long time and could never really get it going.
Yeah.
I love movie fights. Like, I freaking love the fights.
I like, there was a period where I did enjoy it, but weirdly enough, before he got outed in the Me Too movement, he was starting to bug me. It was just too loud for me. And then so that's when I started to stop watching. But there was that period where Kevin Smith was doing it and Seth Rogen was doing it. Like one of my favorite movie fights was the Comic-Con one where Dan Murrell had to argue against what's that German propaganda film? Yeah, he had to argue against a Nazi propaganda film as to why it shouldn't be erased from existence. It was hilarious.
Oh my God!
Yeah, wow. Basically, it's just like what
I probably saw it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, Elijah Wood was like, "I'm out."
The one with Elijah. Okay, I do remember the one with Elijah Wood.
It was at Comic-Con. Oh, that was great.
Okay.
The very first drunk movie fights, which is a twofer favorite all time geekdom thing for me, because you had Ken Knapsack drunk off of his ass, take a random guess and get correct Brad Pitt's age, win drunk movie fights, and then immediately went over to Collider and did the Schmoes No Show and did the news pissed. Pissed drunk.
I hope to
God I can still find that clip, because my God, that was amazing.
That sounds awesome.
And the best part, one of the best things was Andy Signor had warned Harloff prior to Knapsack showing up, so they were hyping it up during the show, and it killed.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Yeah.
That's so great. I still remember the Harloff moment. What is it, Nightshade or Night?
Whatever
it's called, the movie he created.
Yeah, the movie he created. It's like, that's good. That's good.
I love that he almost won that round too on that.
Yeah. No, he's a good bullshitter.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there were some great battles on there, man. Especially like, what was his name? The younger kid that was always one there with him. Him and Mance would always go back and forth.
Oh God.
It wasn't Merle. It was the other one that was always. Is that his name, Joe? Is that his name?
Joe Starr?
I think so.
Yeah, I love Joe Starr. That guy's awesome.
And then whenever Coy would go, that's how I got introduced to Coy.
That's how I got introduced. I got introduced to a lot of these guys. That's why I got introduced.
Coy is one of the funniest people in there because he would literally go and just go insane for like a minute and a half.
Yeah,
it was so funny.
Became a staple. Yeah,
I love that stuff, man. I miss movie fights. I really do.
I do miss that golden era.
I think he was the weakest part anyway. Like I think they could have kept it going without him.
Oh, totally. But by that point,
but I know,
lost interest. And,
sure, there was more to it, but yeah.
Of course, yeah. I mean, they tried to alter it, and some of it was good. The last great one they did was when they did this one for charity, and they actually had they had a whole bunch of people come in and do like a movie fight around or whatever, and they did a Collider / Schmoes one. That was pretty cool.
Nice. Okay.
Harlock was the one. Was one of the judges. Yeah, it was. Who the hell was it? Perry, I think, won.
I'll have to check that one.
Yeah, it has to be out there somewhere, but it was this multiple hour charity event thing.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So amongst all this stuff, man, I know you're a Doctor Who fan too. Where did that come in?
So, an ex-girlfriend actually. We were hanging out at her place, and she threw on Doctor Who, and like I had heard of it, of course.
Sure.
That was about it. I'd heard I knew it was a British show with a blue box. But then we were hanging out, and she threw on the episode, "The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe," which is a Christmas special from Matt Smith's run.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And we're watching it, and then there's a moment at the end where after the main story had wrapped up, and you see where the Doctor goes next. He goes to his companions, Amy and Rory's place, and there's a little bit of tension, and I turned to her, and I asked her what's going on. She kind of explained to me, "Oh, this is her companion. They went through this thing." I'm like, "Oh, cool, okay." And then I went back and I started watching Matt Smith stuff, and before I knew it, I had spent a lot of money, bought all the BBC stuff on DVD,
okay.
Bought that. Now I've got the 11th Doctor screwdriver tattooed on my arm. Don't get me wrong, I fell off at one point. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I'd fallen off. It happens. I have one of those brains. But I still kind of kept up. But it wasn't until I became friends with 50 where it's like, I don't keep up. I will now with Russell T Davies coming back and all that stuff. But it just kind of reignited my passion a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, so, to the point where I'm a freaking guest on one of his shows. Mostly because he has a hard time getting guests, but yeah.
I gotta do one with him, man. No, I gotta do one with him. Definitely.
Yeah, he's
just
very
tough with the time difference, though, right? I mean, what time is it there?
Well, so he's 10 hours ahead of me, which means he's 7 hours ahead of you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so right now it's almost. It's 4:51 my time, so there it is 2:51 in the morning. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like the easiest time for us to do our stuff is we do it on the weekends. Usually in the morning for me. That's just easier on him and stuff like that. So
I just don't know anything about the Doctor Who to really talk about, but anything else, I mean, I can definitely get into
and then that's the thing, like you can just go on and ask him questions and learn so much because as you're in chats with him, the dude freaking can tell you what episode of GIF is from.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Insane. Yeah. He's cosplayed as doctors. So I mean, you could go on not knowing anything and still learn a lot and actually have a good time.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I definitely would learn a lot.
Yeah. Recorded one yesterday about the historical figures that they've met in the classic Who. Because I've seen most of those episodes, so I mean, there's always really cool.
So there's time jumping and all kinds of stuff in this.
100% time jumping and planet jumping,
multiverse, all that stuff, or
that's they did that in the David Tennant era, which Matt Smith will always be my Doctor because that's the one that got me into it.
Sure.
I that will. It's part of me, but. The Tennant stuff is the best Doctor Who stuff, period.
Okay. Fair enough.
It is all unlike Matt Smith's and Peter Capaldi's and Kate Whitaker's eras, where there's definitely highs and there's definitely lows. The Tennant stuff was consistently good.
Okay.
There were some episodes that weren't as good, but they weren't bad.
Yeah.
And some of the story arcs they did were phenomenal. There's one where they go back into, I believe it's World War. Yeah, it's during World War I, they're being chased by someone, and the Doctor takes all of his memories and he puts them in this locket, and so he kind of makes him human. And it's basically a World War I love story that takes place in a boarding school with the Doctor, and his companion is in disguise and is trying to get him, figure out what the hell is going on.
So I'm trying to think. So would I be off base saying something kind of like Quantum Leap?
Yeah, I guess like without the getting into the body thing.
Right. Yeah, no, I got you there. Yeah.
Basically, the way it's described, it's the TARDIS that takes him where he's needed the most. So that's why he ends up on all these random places.
Sure. Okay.
And there's a lot of famous people appeared in those early days. Like Simon Pegg did an episode. Anthony Head was in an episode. Andrew Garfield, before he became Andrew Garfield, did an episode.
Okay.
Carey Mulligan did one of the best Doctor Who's episodes ever. It's called Blink. It's one of the Dr. Light episodes, but it's a great episode. It introduces the Weeping Angels, one of the most terrifying villains. Catherine Tate was a companion. Kylie Minogue was a companion for one of the specials. They got a lot of Timothy Dalton played Rossalon, one of the High Council of the Time Lords.
This is like, it sounds crazy. Like, it sounds like something I would definitely be into, because I mean, I love that kind of stuff in general. So
yeah,
it definitely sounds like something I would be into. It just, I think for me, I always was so scared of it, just because I know it's been around for so long. And
that's the thing. You don't need to watch the classic stuff to appreciate the new stuff. There's things that are hinted at, and then you can just look them up. But I mean, it's not reliant on it. Yes, it is still the same continuity.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not. You don't need to. You're not. It's not like you're 50. We've seen every episode multiple times.
I can't believe he's seen it, because there's got to be hundreds of episodes now, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot that are missing because BBC's stupid.
Okay.
There's a lot missing for the first two Doctors, especially. I think more so the second Doctor. 50 would kill me if I got that wrong. But because they didn't think it was important, so they just destroyed it. And there's a lot of missing episodes. Some have been reconstructed with animation because they still have the original audio, or they just used it as still photos. And there's also serials that are missing out, that like partially missing, and so there's a lot of episodes, but there's not a lot of episodes to watch for the first couple.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Where would be the best place to start? The Tenet stuff, or is that early?
Yeah. So you can literally start at the beginning of any Doctor where they join, because it's basically like it literally is like a reboot. The thing with Tenet, though, if you do to start Tenet, I would recommend going watching the season prior, which had Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor. He only did the one season, but it's because it's the same companion. You're introduced to the same characters. It's kind of it's literally a continuation of the same story. But yeah, definitely Tenet or Matt Smith, because the 11th Hour is one of the best. Is one of the greatest.
Matt Smith definitely sounds interesting to me, because I want him in everything now. Matt
Smith is, what's the best way to describe him? Basically, he's a clown. He's a clown masquerading as a giraffe. It's hard to describe him.
Okay.
He's so funny. He's just out there. And that's where I got introduced to Karen Gillan as well, because she was Amelia Pond. Her and Rory and the Doctor's chemistry and story is so beautiful that when my mom asked me one time when I was in the midst of my fandom, she asked me when she was visiting me in Vancouver, why do you like this show so much? So I described to her the ending of Amy and Rory's final episode, and I, just from describing it to her, broke out into tears. That's how good their story is.
So I like that, though. I like when they can do that.
But I would recommend either starting it there at the 11th Hour with Matt Smith, or if you want to actually just start with Eccleston, or you can skip it and start with Tennant. But if you want to know more, I would definitely start with Eccleston. I don't know who will be streaming on for you in the States.
I was gonna say I'd have to find it. I don't know. Oh man, there's so much of it. There's so much. I'd like to get into it though, because I think I would like it. I really do think I would like it from everything I've heard about it.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of stuff sounds made up. There's one episode in the second season. It is connected to one of the earlier Doctors.
Okay.
But even if you've never seen it, it still gets you. Like, basically, he runs into one of his old companions. They're on the same case. He obviously recognizes her, she doesn't. And then they get into this, like, why did you leave me and all that stuff. It's the one with Anthony Head in it. It's called School Reunion. It's one of my favorite episodes. And reintroduces Sarah Jane, who ended up getting her own spin-off series, the Sarah Jane Chronicles, which is the only one not streaming anywhere, weirdly enough.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, but no, it's a great episode, and then you get to meet reintroduced to the robot K9. One of the first robot dogs on TV. Like, yeah.
Oh, really? A robot dog?
Oh, yeah, and it's very much a 70s robot dog.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I can already imagine what it is.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
That's awesome.
It's great.
That's
no,
awesome.
I do. If you're interested, you are interested, I do recommend checking it out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really do got to spend some time with it. I would like to at least see if, get into it, see if I would enjoy it.
You could tell they got more money when Matt Smith got on board, became the Doctor, because the budget went up, and you can tell.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always a good thing, though. Hopefully, at least. Hopefully.
Yeah, like season 6, so Matt Smith's second season, they was the first time Doctor Who've ever filmed in the States.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was that just for that season, or just
for that episode? It was a 2-part episode. Yeah, it was a 2-part episode. Really great episode. Sets of an weird mystery that you have to watch to believe.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I guess we'll talk about that after this. We can talk more about that, or at least where to start at.
Yeah.
So okay. So where did this? Were you already kind of in starting with like Northern Entertainment at that when you were getting into like Schmodown and all that stuff, or
no? So I had always wanted to, but it wasn't until late like winter of 2019.
Okay, so
I'd already been watching, was a fan by that point, but Frenchie put out a comment in the Schmodown page asking for people who were interested in doing a show, and I was the first one to reach out.
Okay.
And the rest is history. That's literally how it started. Me and him have been doing it since day one together. That's basically how it started. And then I was doing a play at that time, so we kept pushing it, and then COVID hit. So I was like, hey, perfect. And if you go back and watch that very first episode, I'm not where I'm at now. I was on a recliner with my laptop here. I found out Wi-Fi doesn't work great with it, and the only Ethernet cord I had at the time was about that long. So,
oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So basically, it was like a POV shot of a walrus.
Oh, man. Dude, look, for the first, up until just a month ago, maybe 2 months ago at the most, I was still just horrible internet.
Oh yeah,
finally updated everything.
It wasn't until I got my I built my computer that I didn't have to worry about that, but it felt like magical chairs, because I had bad internet, and then it would have been Dave who had bad internet, and then Frenchie, and then Daniel, and then Taco, and then Ryan always had bad internet.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's exactly how it was with us, man. Getting started with Ben, man. Like, I remember talking to him, or he put out something about a year before he started the channel, right? It had to be about a year.
Something like that, yeah.
And he said he wanted people for a Star Wars show. And I said, I'd love to do it, but I don't have a computer. And he's like, I can't do it, or you won't be able to do it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then like a year later, he put up another post saying he needed somebody for host for a Star Wars show. And I'm like, man, I have a computer now. I want to do it. Like, please give me a chance.
Yeah, no, he before you guys started your channel, he'd tried multiple times to launch something.
Yeah. That was great, and then meeting you guys through him, man, was just great too.
Yeah, and then we, the circumstances were real, looking closer, have been better. But it kind of built our own community here, and it's nice because we help each other out. It's great, and getting to do things like Titans of the Turf and stuff. And definitely
want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, because this Oh wait, yeah, the way you were recording is when the episode.
It'll be after.
Did I get kicked in the Swansons? Ouch!
Yeah.
Oh, that has to be the worst game of the season, and not my fault.
Actually, the next game was pretty bad too. I'll be
honest.
honest.
Oh, really? It was.
Yeah,
ouch.
I can say it because, like I said, this will come out after everything. Yeah. But yeah, they were both pretty bad. It was 21-7 was the final in that one. But the 7 came late, so it really wasn't a game.
Just like mine, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a very interesting season, to say the least.
Totally. Well, I mean, it's the first season. You're still working out the kinks.
Man, let me tell you, and yeah, just trying to put something brand new together that's never been done before, and figuring it out. And like I said, we thought we had a lot of it figured out before the season, and then we got into the season, and it was like, no, you don't know anything yet.
Yeah, and like me and Frenchie did the very, very, very first one, and like all the stuff that came out of that.
Yeah, well, the point system came out of that, which was really the big thing, because before that it would have literally just been a really boring game. It really
that is Frenchie's strength is the idea guy. I'm the name guy, he's the idea guy.
No, it was a great idea. It was a great addition to the league for sure. So that was really the thing that was like okay, now we do have something here. Like we thought we had it, but that was the sort of over the hill moment. So
yeah, the light bulb went off.
Big one, right? Yeah, for sure. But well, I want to talk more about forming the channel. So who's there in the beginning? Ben, or Frenchie?
So you're talking there? Like
Northern. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So when we were Skulls of the North, so there was 4 of us.
Right.
There was 4 of us. So there was myself. There was Frenchie. There was our friend Dave Lees, who still hosts Have You Seen This? And Daniel, who is also a co-host of Have You Seen This? So we were the 4. And then we did that for a year. And then it was during that year that I had met Ben. And then Ben and Taco were the next ones on board. Okay, gotcha. And then we brought Ryan on, and we brought a few other people on. And then, shit happened. The channel kind of went and that's where we're at now. We're just a couple of random shows. But yeah, no, the original lineup was me, Frenchie, Dave, and Daniel. And then the second year, it was me and Taco did most of the load just because of life and stuff like that. And then Ben and Ryan were helping us out. And that's when we decided to have Ben as one of our, main guys on the channel and stuff. It was a fucking wild ride that second year.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now, I guess, too. So, yeah.
I remember doing a show with COVID, doing a couple of shows with COVID. That sucked. You can see it in my face when I'm doing their shows. So like,
oh man, dude, there are them days too, though, even without being sick. Days in general where you're just like, I don't even want it, and you just have to be like, I'm on the channel.
Yeah, luckily I do that enough in my real life, so it's not that hard for me. But yeah, no, those seasons were, there was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun then. Like there was a lot of good moments. But
see, now I remember watching, and I'll admit I wasn't like an every week watcher or anything like that, but I do remember catching episodes and stuff like that. And you guys always had fun together. It seemed like, at least. Yeah, I always remember that.
We all came from the same mentality where it's like we're just gonna have fun. What's funny enough, we had a show called Northern Consultations, which was our interview show. Okay. Like, I don't know if you remember when Chandler got in trouble and almost lost his Inner Geekdom title shot for something he said on a podcast. Yes. That was our show.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay. No, I didn't know that.
That was us. Yeah, that was us. But no, what was funny was originally, like, Lou's very structured. Lou's very, very structured. So originally it was like, oh, here's a list of questions and stuff like that. And Dave was doing it, and but when it came to me, I don't give a shit. I'm doing this for fun, okay? Like, I'm not structured, like, but so when I did it on my own, I just had a Harloff style conversation.
Sure.
And then after that, every one of those was a Harloff style conversation. It's like that, and then that's when we started. That's it. I inadvertently caused the looseness of the channel.
Fair enough. And now, so now you're doing the wrestling thing, right? Now you're doing the wrestling channel.
So at the end of the month, me and my buddy Dagan, we had a show over on LGR called The Blokes of Wrestling. But we decided we're going to branch out and do our own channel.
Okay.
So we're going to be launching that at the end of May around the Double or Nothing pay-per-view for AEW. Because we're not going to be doing a lot of live coverage of WWE, but we're definitely going to be doing about AEW and the other ones. But yeah, basically we're going to have one main show. 50's actually going to be helping us with a show because he's never really seen wrestling. I got him to watch one match for our show, Fun with Flags. I watched it with him. And I had a hoot watching it with him. And
he seems like he would love it if he really watched it. Yeah, no, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So it gave me the idea of doing one of those videos of having somebody watch wrestling matches for the first time. So yeah, that's gonna be one show. Me and my buddy Dustin, we used to do a show called the Squared Slice over on the Northern Entertainment Group, which was our wrestling show there. He's going to be doing a monthly show with me called Top Tier Wrestling. But what we're doing is we're basically ripping off the Top 10 show that Roca and Nost used to do.
Yep,
we're going to be doing wrestling topics.
Gotcha.
And okay. Gagan's going to has some stuff too that he wants to do. I'm going to be doing shorts for short reactions immediately after the WWE pay-per-view's over. Like we're talking about possibly doing like retro pay-per-view reviews because I love to wax poetic about the history of wrestling. So yeah, it's a passion of mine that is actually happening.
Dude, we got to get you to come on then. Actually, I think that might be a good idea because Frenchie has that show now, Geek and Al on the channel, man, where we just kind of pick a random topic.
Oh, totally.
So bring you on for wrestling, and I'd like to get 50 on for Doctor Who. That would actually be really fun.
Like for wrestling, you can come with any question about anything probably pre-2014, and I could probably answer it.
Awesome. Okay, that's something we might have to talk about.
Like I've seen every WrestleMania. I own every WrestleMania. As you can see, I've got the Attitude Era title belt behind me.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a Macho Man figure underneath that. I got right there that Macho Man figure. I've had that since 1990. That's a wrestling buddy.
That's the little pillow thing, right?
That's the wrestling buddy. Yes.
Yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, I know. I had one of those.
Yeah.
I had Ultimate Warrior. That's what I had. That was my favorite.
Ultimate Warrior was my favorite. One.
Yeah.
But because
it was Ultimate Warrior and what was his partner's name? And they had the really like
Ultimate Warrior never had a partner, like a proper partner. But
well, they had like the really bright colors on. Both of them did. He had the green and pink, and they had like the.
I'm trying to remember that first line. It was Hogan. It was Ted DiBiase in the green suit. It was Warrior. It was the Macho King.
I'm trying to remember now, man.
You know what? It's a good thing I got another computer here.
Yeah.
Another monitor.
Let's look it up.
Yeah.
There was definitely a tag team with Ultimate Warrior back then.
Well, Ultimate Warrior was in a tag team pre-WWE, but that wouldn't have been
it would have definitely been pre-WWE.
That was him and Sting.
Him and Sting, yes. That's right. Yes, him and Sting. Yes, exactly. Yes. I was like, I know the person who it is. It's definitely a big person.
Yeah. Actually, if you want to watch a good video on the Wrestling Buddies, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers and they've got a YouTube channel. They're wrestlers, but they're also toy collectors.
Okay. Yeah,
and they got so many kick-ass.
Oh, dude, I had like the little wrestling ring, the little plastic wrestling ring.
Yeah. They have all of it. They got variants.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
They do a deep dive on these Wrestling Buddies. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had all that stuff as a kid, man. All that stuff.
Yeah, they did a Big Boss Man like afterwards. And,
Jake the Snake was another one of my favorites. Macho Man.
The Road Warriors.
Yeah,
the Road Warriors, which is
Road Warriors. Yep.
Which is where Kaiser got his comes from them.
Jim Duggan and what was the other one's name?
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Yeah.
Yes, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were great.
Oh.
Yes.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh my God, yes, Sergeant Slaughter.
Cannon, who, if you follow him, he will follow you back. He follows a lot of people.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
How about Kamala, the Ugandan giant? How about that?
Yep,
I had his action figure right there.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is probably you probably wouldn't know this. Magnum TA. That's more NWA from the 1980s.
No, I don't think I did. No.
Yeah, they called it. His name is Terry Allen. He kind of resembled Tom Selleck, and this was during Magnum PI, so they called him Magnum TV.
Wow.
And he was actually supposed to be like he had a future, but he got into a very serious motorcycle accident that ended his career. Yeah, never fully recovered from it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Was it a motorcycle accident or was it a car accident? It was a vehicle accident.
I got you. Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, that sucks, man. So many of them, so many people from back then, man.
Oh,
like,
totally.
The Owen Hart incident. Is it Owen Hart or was
Owen Hart? Yeah, I remember my dad telling me about that. He's like, he's like, hey, did you know Owen Hart died? I'm like, that's a bummer. That one still sucks.
Who's the one that went crazy and killed his family?
Benoit.
Yes.
Rich Benoit.
Yes.
One of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Like, that is undeniable. But
yeah.
Unforgivable, man. Like,
that
happened in 2007, man. I still remember like it was yesterday. Because
crazy.
Like, I'm not going to go into the broad strokes, but I'm going to go into the wrestling side of it. Like, he was supposed to be in a title match on the Sunday pay-per-view, but he didn't show up. And then they discovered, the bodies. And so the next night they did a Raw. They dedicated the whole show to him. But as the show was going on, is when the details started coming out. And then the next night before the ECW show, Vince McMahon did a pre-recorded video, and he said this. Basically, this is what happened. And this video right here is the last time you will ever hear us use the name Chris Benoit in anything. So now, like on the WWE Network, you can watch his matches, but you can't search for him. There are, I believe, there are disclaimers on his videos as well. He has not been mentioned on WWE programming on anything since that night.
I'm sure. Yeah.
There's a lot. He has a lot of memorable, great WWE matches.
Oh, I definitely remember him. Yeah, for sure.
But it's just, I can watch them, but it's not the same.
Sure. Yeah. No. It sucks when something like that happens. Somebody that you watch growing up
kills his son. She was in the wrestling business as well. That's a story. That's a story how they got together.
Well, I found out about it because I watched that
The Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah.
Yes, the series. Yeah, with all the different stories.
Love that series.
Yeah, it's a crazy series.
They have a spin-off which is more lighthearted, but it's called Tales from the Territories. So every episode they talk about a different region of the territory system pre what we know it is now. So Memphis, Florida. Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
Okay.
The Rock produced that one. The Rock produced that one. And now when you get like legends from those territories and stuff like that, it's pretty cool.
Dude, I mean, I know The Rock is The Rock, but Young Rock is freaking hilarious, dude. That show is so great. That show's
not streaming anywhere up here.
That show is so great, man. It really is.
From what I've seen, they really nail the vintage stuff. Like, dude,
the guy they get to play Hogan is perfect. The guy they get to play Hogan is perfect.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, and then they got Becky Lynch, current WWE icon, to play Cyndi freaking Lauper. That was wild.
There's some great moments.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, she's got a thick Irish accent. How the hell is she going to pull off a Brooklyn one? And she did.
Yeah, no, there's some great moments, and when you see certain, because I mean, when you see them, you know who it is. Like they play into the, what they would look like. So
yeah,
it's so much fun, man. It's it's a great show.
Although I did some reading. There was a character in there that the Rock had a beef with back in the day. That's on that show. Well, that's actually not a real character. That's people think it's referencing Shawn Michaels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there was a beef between them apparently back in the day. Rumor has it that Michaels disrespected Rock's grandmother or something.
They all had to be beefing with each other, man. Especially this one,
most of them were beefing, but it was beefing for the top spot. It was competitiveness. This was like a legit, like they never worked together beef.
Okay, fair enough. Shawn Michaels probably kicked people right in the jaw so many damn times.
Yeah, well, Shawn Michaels definitely no angel. So back in the day, now he's converted. Right. He's a good dude, but back in the day, oh boy, the stories. That's its own Dark Side of the Ring season.
Dude, how cool is it that Christian Harloff got that moment where he got
with the Rock? Oh god, yeah.
Dude, how cool would that be? How awesome would that be?
Yeah. I have met a wrestler in the wild once. Like I never actually like went up and approached him and geeked out, but it was just like
Sure,
I remember
sure.
seeing him and I'm like, huh, he's taller than I thought.
Oh, dude, they gotta be
It's
huge.
well, you might have heard of him. It's The Miz.
Oh yeah, I know Miz. Yeah.
Yeah. So me and my friends, we were living in Vancouver. We went to Granville Island. We went to go see an improv show. We went to the late show. Well, he got out of the first show because he was there filming one of the Marine movies. So he was there for the first show, participating in some of that. I'm like, and he had the title with him. I'm like, he had the Intercontinental title. So I'm like, holy shit!
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, dude, I would walk around with it for sure. If I had one, I would
100%.
walk around with it.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was the white one that was designed, that was based off of the old design. It's a gorgeous belt.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And his wife, oh man, he definitely shot upwards with that one. Like, wow, how? And he's French Canadian to boot.
They get some women, man. They get some women. They don't got the bodies, man. They don't got the bodies. That's what it is.
That's true.
They don't got the bodies, man.
Like I could care less about reality TV, but I will say if a clip comes on Twitter, I will check it out of their show. Like, I'm a Miz fan for life. Like that dude has earned my respect in the wrestling business. He's been consistent. You need him, he's there. He's one of those guys that he's at the point in his career where he could lose all the time and he wouldn't lose his heat.
Okay.
Yeah. Like he's a lifer. Like he's definitely one of those guys. Like when he retires, you still want him to work for the company as an ambassador and stuff like that.
Sure. So he's the Rock type person. That type
in the sense, in a sense. Basically, The Rock had never gone to Hollywood. I can see that comparison more so.
Okay, I just mean like that he's still like a huge wrestling advocate. Like he's not.
Oh yeah.
Like he will promote it and go back and do
100%
stuff and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, The Rock doesn't really come back all that much anymore, but he hasn't wrestled in 10 years at this point because his last match that he had, he ended up tearing some muscle, something, and ended up pushing back the filming of Hercules.
See, I wouldn't let him do it either. I'd be like, no, dude, you can't do it.
Yeah, and he's got to be what? Rocky's in his early 50s at this point?
Oh, he's got to be, right? Yeah, for sure.
And that's the guy. You look at him when he started. Like, if you think about it, like, obviously everyone knows he was a wrestler, but his full-time career wasn't that long.
No.
He joined, he debuted on the main roster in November of 96 at Survivor Series. And by summer of 2002, his full-time career was over.
Right.
He had already gone off and started doing Hollywood stuff by that point, because the year prior was when The Mummy Returns happened.
And a Scorpion King and all that. Yeah.
Scorpion King.
Absolutely.
But he's an iconic wrestler, but he wasn't around that long.
But he would come back and do matches still, right?
Well,
after all that.
Once he stopped in 2002, he came back a few months later, did a couple of months. He did a program with Hogan. They did the rematch, and then he did Austin's final match at that time. And then he did a thing with Goldberg. He left, and then he came back again in 2004 to help out Mick Foley for Mania. And then that was the last time he appeared in WWE for 7 years.
7 years. Wow. Really?
There was something happened. And his agents were trying to tell him, trying to stay away from the wrestling stuff. That's why he stopped calling himself The Rock. And people stopped referring him to The Rock and stuff like that. And then, of course, rumor has it there was something going on behind the scenes of WWE as well. But yeah, he was gone for 7 years. And then I remember this. Like, I don't remember if I heard any rumors, but I remember watching Monday Night Raw. And they announced this is going to be the host of WrestleMania that year. And yeah, I'll never forget it. It's like, oh, who the fuck is it? The lights go down, the arena is black, and all of a sudden you see lightning bolts all over the thing. You're like, what the hell? And all of a sudden you hear, if you smell, and the arena, like the
I can imagine.
The rain jumped off the ground, like,
yeah,
my God, he's back.
Oh, dude, when that song and the Stone Cold and that shit would come on in the Attitude Era, dude, like that place would have rocked.
Still, 100%.
Oh, I'm sure it still does, but
like the Austin pops. Austin is amazing. I've been going back and watching his.
Dude, the Undertaker. I still remember the match where he puts him in the where it was him and Stone Cold when he puts him in the
Very live.
Yeah, and he put him in the coffin.
1998.
And he sits on top of the coffin just drinking the beer. Yeah. I'm just like, this is It was the most insane stuff ever at that
Oh,
time.
100%.
It was so crazy.
100%.
Loved every second of it, though.
It was so much. Yeah, it was so much fun. Like, yeah, it was bonkers as shit, but it was so
like,
much
dude,
fun.
he would just come out and smash the beers
Yeah.
together and drink them, and then
The meeting to WrestleMania 15 with The Rock, where he showed up with a beer truck and hosed the ring, the beer bath.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, like
The
yeah,
famous beer bath. Then there
but
was
even like
the cement truck. Do you know about that one? Where he filled the
I do.
Ferrari?
Yes, I remember. Yes.
So on WWE's Most Wanted Treasures, the first episode of this season was Stone Cold Steve Austin stuff. So they were actually trying to find the Corvette, but it turns out it's actually at WWE headquarters, but there's no way it can move.
Well, yeah,
it's just sitting there.
Jeez, man,
it's under carpet and everything, but yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that happened. Like they did a lot of the out of the ring matches too, or just not ring matches, but stuff would just happen behind the scenes, and it was
one of the famous ones was in 2002 with Booker T and Austin, where they fought in a supermarket.
I don't remember that one. Wow,
price check on Jackass.
Oh wow, I don't remember that. I remember a lot of them were in the parking lots. Like they would always like be going over top of limos and stuff, and you could always tell it was. Because it would be like a 1980s limo, like randomly, and they would just like beat it to hell, throwing each other into it and stuff. It was always great.
No, I like that, like
and the hallway stuff or the locker room stuff, where they would just be in the locker room, or then randomly somebody would come in and they would just start fighting.
Everything from 1980, basically 85, to I want to say 2004, 2005. Is what I consider my comfort period for wrestling. Like, that is the stuff I can watch all day. Never get tired of it.
I would agree. I would say that's right where I'm at.
Something from there. Like I've got a lot of wrestling matches on my personal YouTube that, because they've been blocked, not many people can watch but me. But I always watch something from there because it's just it's comforting.
Yeah. No, it was one of the best times in wrestling for sure. Hands down. Yeah, just the fun of it and just the insaneness
and the scariness of the times, like Mick Foley, Hell in a Cell, 1998. Like
there were some great matches.
He could have died. He could have died.
He could have died in that match. Yeah. What was who took the chair to the head that it hit him wrong and it opened him up, and they thought that something almost happened to that person too.
Well, I know
not death, but something like skull fracture kind of thing or something.
It's probably happened quite a few times, but I know in the Mankind Hell in a Cell match, the first throw was planned, but the second one where Taker chokeslammed him and he went through the cage and the chair fell and hit him in the face like right afterwards, that was not supposed to happen.
Okay.
And that's the moment where I said he could have died, because the way he took it, his one foot didn't really get off the ground, so it was a bump. Normally, when Nick took the chokeslam, he would get some air. And if he'd have gotten some air on that, he would have over-rotated and landed on his head. Yeah.
It's scary, yeah.
9 months before Owen Hart's thing, too.
Oh, my goodness, yes. So they were already trying to push the envelope at that point, yeah. Well, I guess that's more of an accident, though. That wasn't supposed to happen like that.
No, the Owen Hart thing was definitely an accident.
Well, definitely, yeah, that was, yeah. Oh, I love how when people were like, "Oh, it's on purpose." Like, I just can't imagine they would risk their company and risk all of that.
That is still considered one of the darkest days in wrestling.
I mean, everybody knew about it. Like, even if you weren't watching wrestling at the time, like it was a big thing. Yeah,
it was a big thing, and it happened to one of the nicest guys. He's one of those few guys in the wrestling industry that you've never heard anything bad about ever.
Sure.
Yeah. And he was known for pulling practical jokes, like not mean practical jokes at all.
Yeah.
It was more like the little kid brother type practical jokes.
Yeah.
Like the time he got a whole bunch of barnyard animals in Mr. McMahon's office.
Oh no way!
That's awesome. Or the time he got his own father by pretending to be one of his father's rivals. That was a pretty good one. He was a shit, but in a good way,
Yeah, no, you got to have people like that, man. Yeah. It's fun to have people like that around for sure. No, yeah, I just remember that was like a huge moment. Like, everybody knew about that when it happened.
It's still felt 24 years later this month.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's got to be Yeah.
It is the
99. It would have been 99.
It was made in 1999. It was the Over the Edge pay-per-view. That was the only pay-per-view that they never released on home video. The only time it was ever released.
I am too old, dude.
The only time that ever was shown publicly was when they launched the network, and they of course have edited out the Owen Hart match, and it has the disclaimer in front of the video.
Yeah.
But before that, no one had ever seen the pay-per-view unless you recorded it that night.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine being there or seeing that happen, man.
Me neither. Or having to wrestle right afterwards, knowing like that hole is where Owen landed.
Yeah, no. That's
like, did you like? I don't. You said you watched Dark Side of the Ring. You should, if you haven't, go watch the Owen Hart ones. Those are eye-opening.
Are they on there?
Yeah, it's the latest season, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not caught up then. Okay,
yeah,
I don't remember those.
Season 4 this year.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm definitely not caught up. I've only watched 2 seasons. So okay. So I got to
go 3 and 4.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Well, there you go. I got to catch up on stuff. So that's on me.
Yeah.
So much to catch up on, man. I'm telling you.
No, I hear you.
So much to watch.
I got burnt out with all the pop culture stuff that I just watch what I want to watch now. I got tired. I just got tired. Like I still haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
I haven't seen that one yet. No, I haven't caught up.
Yeah, or Eternals. I didn't see Eternals, Ant-Man 3, or Wakanda Forever in theater just because I couldn't. Didn't have time or money.
Yeah, no, I waited for Wakanda to come out and then I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I saw Wakanda Forever in theaters from going back, but what it is what it is. I did get
the last time that I really wanted and had to see a Marvel movie was Endgame. I mean, Infinity War and Endgame were the last.
For me, the last one was No Way Home.
Okay, well, okay, that is fair. That is fair. Yeah, No Way Home, too. Definitely.
But I did go see Guardians.
But you know what I mean? Like, it just hasn't been the same feeling of like I have to go see it in the theater.
Yeah, it's like nothing can top that. But I did go see Guardians the other night, and I really enjoyed it. Got very angry.
I've heard it's great, man. I've heard it's great.
So obviously, like, this isn't really a spoiler because it's in the trailers, but they go into Rocket's origins, and there were times where when they were showing that I was getting visibly angry.
Can imagine. Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah,
like,
he's a tortured soul.
Like they show it without showing it, if that makes sense.
Okay. No, yeah.
But you still knew what was going on.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's probably going to end up being my least favorite in the trilogy.
Oh, really? What's your favorite?
It's the first one.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you can beat the dance off.
Right. It's a very heavy movie, but it's a very well done movie.
I mean, that's good.
Very heavy.
See, I love the second one.
I like it too. Like
I do. I like him and Yondu stuff is the best. It's the best in the movie.
Yeah, Yondu send off still gets me.
Yes. Dude, when he says I'm Mary Poppins, y'all, I literally tear up every time. Like it's one of the greatest. Dude, it's one of the best moments ever.
Mm-hmm.
I just love them two together, and and the way that Yondu became his pseudo dad.
Yeah,
so great. It's such a great storyline. Yeah.
No, it's like not as good as the first one, but still good.
Yeah, no, and it's not as good as the first one. I just, like I said, just that storyline gets me every time. And then the little bit with we get with Drax and Mantis is great. It is great.
They got more of that in this movie, and that's also awesome.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, that's fun.
Yeah,
because Drax is just so great, man. I mean, like one of my favorite lines of all of Marvel is when he's eating the chips and he thinks he's invisible. It's so that scene is one of the funniest things ever. He's like, "You can't see.
Nothing goes over my head. I have great reflexes."
I love him. Batista is great.
Totally.
Yeah, I am excited for that. Have you watched Peter Pan and Wendy?
Not yet. No.
Dude, I'm telling you, I really enjoyed it.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot, and I'm a huge fan of Peter Pan anyway. I like that story anyway, but. Mm-hmm. What they did with the story and some of the things they changed, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really well executed. I thought so.
I like it when they can do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the original is still going to be, a great movie, but Well, it's always going to be that. I think everything Disney is. We'll still never take the sex out of the clouds, though, in the first Lion King.
Yeah.
Isn't it in the first Lion King?
It's the animated one. People say it's sex. People say it's SFX. I personally have never actually. I don't see it.
It kind of looks like it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just one of those funny things. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Oh no, totally. Like one of my favorites was in the Rescuers when the one guy put the it's like one frame in the window when they're flying down from a porno film.
No way. Is that real?
You've never seen that?
No, that's awesome.
Oh, okay. Thank God I have control over all this.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
My StreamYard account. Rescuers. Yeah, obviously they've edited it out of.
I'm sure. Yeah. That's
That's
great, though.
Woman. Yeah, if it's like several frames, I'm gonna try to see. Yep, there it is. Hold on, I'll share it. Yeah, like this is a legit one. This is one that has been verified.
Let's analyze this.
Which one are we going for? We're gonna go with that one. There we go. Yeah, right there.
You can definitely see it. Oh my God, that is so great.
Yeah,
that's great.
And of course, I'm assuming you know about the on the original Little Mermaid case, the penis in the.
Oh yes, that yes,
yeah, I do actually at my parents' place have that case.
Oh really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disney got away with some funny stuff, man. They got, or at least their animators and writers and stuff.
Totally. There was definitely some sly stuff for the adults.
They were having some fun, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, when you try to be that righteous type of group, like our company, you know, and like children and all that stuff, like of course people are gonna have fun with it. Like, come on,
totally.
You know, that's like if Ezra Miller was in Marvel, he'd be gone already.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just the difference of the company itself, just how they try to portray themselves.
Yeah, you know? I do think he's gone after the Flash, though.
Oh, I think so too. But you know what I mean? Like, they would have just been like, "You're gone."
Yeah.
I mean, look how, and again, it's different circumstance, but look at what they did with Jonathan Majors, man. I mean, already they're like, "Yep, you're gone."
Well, yeah, but they haven't dropped him yet, though, because I mean, he still has Loki season 2.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not. I don't think they're filming anything in the future with him.
No, and everyone's dropped him, and it's just like, my God.
Yeah. Oh, it's a shitty situation. It really is. It sucks.
Which kind of makes me glad he's not on the Creed 3 poster, so I don't have to look at it when I finally hang it up. But...
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's just like, well,
dude, he was about to have the biggest career. Like, he was about to blow up.
Yep. And said it was like,
yeah, wow. Like,
yeah.
And I was excited for Kang Dynasty because I really liked him. I really liked him.
Yeah, I was curious. I can't wait to see what he did in Quantumania. But it's that we're not going to get more.
Yeah, because I loved him in Loki. I love that one version of him. But I've heard he's done like at this point it's like 2 or 3 different versions now we see.
Yeah.
So I was really excited for that. It's hard to find an actor who can do that, man. Who can really like make you feel a different character completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's very few. Like the first one that comes to mind is why am I fucking forgetting his name? Professor X.
Ian McKellen.
Yeah, from Split. Like
sure. Oh, that's one of the best performances.
Yeah, how could was it? That was nominated. That was a fucking robbery. That she should have been nominated.
Oh yeah, he should have absolutely been nominated for that. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like Glass though. Glass didn't really.
The thing is, Tarantino, he's never really done it for. Not Tarantino, Shyamalan. He's never really done it for me. So I've seen The Village. I started Unbreakable, never finished it.
Oh, you've seen Sixth Sense though, right? Obviously. Oh, really?
I've never seen any of his movies outside of The Village.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I will say Sixth Sense is still, in my opinion, a
masterpiece. Oh, totally. Totally. It's just one of those like.
But he is a very hit or miss director, and he is usually a miss.
That's the thing.
Will say that. Yeah.
Like he's basically a one-trick pony.
Yes. Oh, definitely that. Yeah, that's not even a question. There's another movie. I don't know if you've ever seen. It's called The Others with Nicole Kidman. It's a little bit of an older movie.
I haven't. Yes, I have. I saw once when it came out on VHS.
That one is another sort of. It's not a Shyamalan movie, but it's sort of that
I
vein
do
of that
remember that
twist type.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
do remember that twist.
really great movie though.
Yeah, far from a memorable
It's hard
twist.
to do stuff. It's hard to do stuff like that nowadays.
Right,
Like,
especially in this day and age with spoilers and all that shit.
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I
can
mean,
you imagine if the reveal in Sleepaway Camp had been happened during the age of social media?
yeah. Well, what about Glass Onion? Like, did you like Glass Onion? Have you seen Glass Onion?
I didn't like it as much as Knives Out, but I really did like it.
Yeah. But see, I think that's a smart way to do a mystery. Is you really just have to throw in 6 or 7 twists. Like, you just have to. Like, you can't do 1 or 2 because people are going to figure it out so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
So
like,
that's the best way to do it.
Said that they figured out that it was Edward Norton who was the bad guy at the beginning, but I didn't see any of that shit.
I didn't see it coming that way. No, I mean, I kind of had ideas of what might, but yeah, I didn't see it like that. No, there's no way I could have figured that out. There's no way.
Yeah. Plus, I'm stoned half the time, so I wouldn't have.
Right. Yeah. Not looking for that being the twin sister of the, like, no, I'm not looking for any of that stuff. No. Yeah. So, oh man, that's why we love movies, though, guys. This is
100%.
This is what brings us back.
Yeah. I don't talk about movies like this much anymore.
I love it, man. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, no, it's fun when you're doing it with the right people, for sure. Especially when it's you can talk about enjoying films. Like I could never be a critic because that's while I can easily have those discussions, that's not my main reason for being a movie fan. I like movies because I like movies.
Yeah.
No, I like to get sucked into the story. Like I cannot, in all fairness, rank a movie in a franchise after seeing it for the first time. Like, because especially when it's in the theater, because I'm going there as a fan. I'm going in there to enjoy what I'm going to watch. It's on the second time when I can start, noticing more of those things and I'll be more able to rank them. But I just can't do it after the first viewing.
And there's a lot of movies that I just love that I know they're bad movies. I don't care. Totally. I don't care. Like, I don't care. Yeah. I
love The Phantom. There's a lot of those movies from that era that I enjoy. Yeah.
There's so many great ones, man. But I mean, Jay and Silent Bob is one of my favorite movies.
The
original one. It's one of my favorite movies.
Clerks 3 killed me.
Clerks 3 is so good, though. That I think is actually a good movie. I really think he put his heart into it, man.
100%. That one and Clerks 2 are my 2 favorite Kevin Smith films.
Yeah, no, it's hard to argue with that, man, for sure.
Yeah, big Kevin Smith.
I really like Jay and Silent Bob too, though. I think he really actually
Reboot. Oh yeah, Reboot was pretty good.
Reboot was actually a really good movie, man. And again, I guess you kind of have to know his story, and know a little bit of background. But yeah, it's a great movie, I think.
Red State is a good one as well. That is very much not a Kevin Smith film.
No, and it's
crazy. Tusk. Tusk is a fucking weird movie.
I can't watch that movie again. I just can't.
Yeah, me neither. I do have it just for posterity's sake, but I still haven't seen Yoga Hosers. I don't want to see that one.
It's awful. It's awful. It's awful. It's absolutely awful.
And I actually do own one of the few USQ movies that doesn't involve those characters, like in that movie.
Do you know that he was supposed to do a third one in that trilogy? It was going to be Yoga Hosers, Tusk.
Oh yeah.
Moose Jaw or Moose Shark or some
Moose
weird.
It was Jaws as a moose. Yeah, no, I used to listen to his old podcast.
I'm so glad that didn't happen.
That's the thing with Kevin Smith. Like I'm still waiting on the final book of his Batman series with Walt Flanagan. Like he announces a lot of stuff. But
he does.
He does. But I'll just say I have Vulgar.
Oh really?
You ever seen Vulgar?
No, I have. No, I haven't.
Never heard of it? It is this fucked up movie. Where is it?
By Kevin. It's from Kevin Smith.
He produced it. He has it. He's in it. It's directed by Brian Johnson. Did you ever watch Comic Book Man?
I know exactly who it is.
It's directed by Beard Guy. Yeah, it's Brian O'Halloran is in it. He plays Vulgar, and it's got Ethan Suplee's in it as well. But basically, a once ridiculed and downtrodden clown elevates to celebrity status when he saves a child from a hostage situation. But being a household name soon brings his skeletons out of the closet. And the skeletons out of the closet was within the first, I think, 20 minutes of the movie. He gets hired and he gets lured into a hotel room and he gets violently raped by a father and his two hillbilly sons.
Oh no. Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's a movie I cannot watch a lot.
Oh yeah.
It's such a fucked up movie.
No, I definitely have not seen that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
I will have to see if I can find it somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's quite the movie. It's not a long movie, thank the Lord. Yeah,
sounds like
and what I love is that the reviews they put on the back from the San Francisco Chronicle, an ugly, revolting movie, and from the New York Times, vulgar is truly and thankfully a one-of-a-kind work.
It's fair.
Yeah, it's
fair.
And of course, you see all the familiar hits, like Jason Mewes has got a role in it. Q from Impractical Jokers, he has a short, small role in it.
Oh wow, really? Okay.
Oh yeah, he's been friends with those guys since the late '90s.
No, okay.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Yeah. I love Impractical Joker, so that's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Did you see the movie?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that actually. I own that.
Yeah. I mean, I've only seen the first, like in its entirety. I've only seen the first season, but I like to watch stuff online. Yeah.
Dude, it's some of the best stuff, man.
Oh, totally. It's a bummer. It's a bummer that.
Did you see when they did Joe's whole house, when they wrapped everything in his house with gift wrap?
No, but it's a bummer that he's no longer with the show.
And I literally mean the entire house. I mean, they did all of his plates individually. They did all of his cups individually. All of it. Yeah, the entire house. Chandeliers, fans, sofa, the floor, the walls, like everything in the house is completely
that's commitment.
Funny. It's one of the greatest things you'll ever watch, man. Definitely. Hold on, I gotta bring it up now just because it's so fun.
Unless you want your video copyright strike, I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, let's not do that.
I wouldn't recommend it. I've learned that the hard way.
Nope, that's fair. That's completely fair. That's completely fair. Yeah. Yeah, man. I think we kind of hit everything, man. Well, Titans. Let's talk a little bit about Titans. So, I know it kind of ended rough for you, but overall, man, honestly, how was the first season for you?
So it was a lot of fun, especially like for me. Like I said, I don't take any of this stuff seriously. Like I take it seriously, but I don't take it seriously.
Yeah,
I just wanted to have fun, and I did have fun. There was some memorable stuff, like with when I completely destroyed Lou's team that one time.
Yes.
Or like I said, the last game where it's like I literally got kicked in the Swansons. No, it was.
Ron Swanson was one of the best things ever. Dude.
Oh, that just happened because I was so stoned and so paranoid I didn't want to talk. So,
dude, it was perfect though. It worked out perfectly. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard to keep up during the season to the point where I do think I'm going to retire it just because.
No, I get it. But it was so funny when you would pull them up, man.
The first time was definitely pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that was one of the best things.
Yeah, no, Ron Swanson, definitely one of the GOATs.
Yes, for sure. For sure, man. Yeah. I love it, man. Yeah, no, I'm excited for next season, man. And I hope by the time this comes out, we've already announced this, but we're going to be in it. We're coming in, and so it should be really fun, man, because after watching, man, it's so hard not to want to play. It really is. Right. It's so hard not to want to play.
There's a few people I know would have a legit fun time doing this.
I would be invited, dude. I think anybody. Yeah, I definitely would invite anybody in to play this because I just think if people saw it and really like once you get it, it's so much fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So. Yeah, I would definitely be up to having new people come in. I know me and Jason want to play, and we'll see we'll see what happens. We're still talking about some things on our end, but yeah, no, it should be really exciting next season. I think so. I think we're gonna make a few changes. So
well, naturally, you kind of have to, right? Like that's what the first couple seasons are for.
Yeah. And I told him too, like when we first, because he was all about like trying to perfect it, and I'm like, dude, this is going to be super organic. Yeah. Like this is going to be like week to week, season to season. Things are going to change all the time. So
yeah, and as we discussed earlier, yeah, that's basically from the very first test game.
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of knew that, but at the same time, I think he just wanted to make sure that,
which I get.
When you're putting something new out, you don't want to put the crappiest version of it, and nobody does. So you want to, yeah. So that's more where he was coming from with it. So no, it was great putting it together. But working with you guys this season has been great, and
oh yeah,
we haven't done the championship game yet, but I am so excited for that, man. That's going to be great. So just excited for everything. But
yeah, who won the other game?
Frenchie won.
Naturally.
Yeah, Frenchie won. So it's Frenchie and John versus each other for the championship.
Nice.
We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be crazy because John's now 4-1 or 5-1.
Yeah.
So
you're going to need a Rosetta Stone to translate that match.
I have no idea what's going to happen there. Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm thinking about actually. I want to talk to Jason about bringing somebody in as a third person, like for commentating.
Yeah,
like from the league, just to have a third person in there just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and like I said, when you do face off, you can't go wrong with me and Frenchie's replacement.
Well, he'll be in the game. That's the only thing. I would but I would definitely have you on with us. Yeah, that would be fun for sure. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, guys, I think that's it though for this one. We kind of talked about everything. Dude, tell them where they can find you though, man. Like, tell them about everything you have going on right now.
Well, not really much going on camera right now, but you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me on the Northern Entertainment Group where I have 2 shows with my friend 50, Fun with Flags. And
Flags is a great show, man, by the way. Sorry.
Really?
That's a great show. No, it is. I have a lot of fun watching it. Yeah, no, I have a lot of fun.
It's good to hear. He prepares better than I do. I will say that for the show. But yeah, no, it's definitely always a lot of fun talking about it. We just recorded one where we discussed, or no, the next one we're gonna be recording. Sorry, is about Eurovision.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
yeah. So no, it's look out for that. And then my next one, where I'm gonna be telling you about this young novel series that I still have called The Screech Owls, about a Pee-wee hockey team. Great stuff, but. And like I said, I'm usually one of his guests on.
Is that where Mighty Ducks came from? Is that where they stole it from?
No. This came out after. No. This is basically if you took the Mighty Ducks meets the Hardy Boys.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I know what you mean.
That's what it is. But there's multiple main characters. But yeah, so we're gonna be discussing that, and of course, like I said, I'm usually a guest on his show, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. You can find me occasionally doing live watch-alongs for Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown over on the Hotel Network. And then, like I said, discussed earlier, at the end of the month, So Big in Wrestling, the rest of our wrestling channel is going to be launched. And keep an eye out for that. We're going to have some fun stuff coming up.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, please check out everything over there. Like I said, it's been so great just getting to know you and, just all the collabs we've done, and not even collabs, just being able to have somebody to go to, like, hey, I don't know how to do this. Like, can you show me how to do this? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one thing. I'll gladly help anybody out because I know how much of a pain in the ass it can be.
Yeah, so that's one of the best parts about it. And that's why I kind of wanted to do this too, was I wanted to start with the multiverse. So I wanted to get everybody on the channel first and then do the Benverse, because we are really like a big family at this point where we all talk pretty much every day
together. Yeah. But it made us stronger at the same time.
Absolutely. So, and guys, Ben is the glue for this entire thing. So, we are always doing this in honor of him and just thinking of him at all the time. So
every day,
man. As I say, I'm always just filling in for him. So
yeah, it's basically like we're all just trying to pick up the slack that he left behind. He left behind a lot of slack. Man. Like he did a lot.
Just wish I would have known more. Yeah, I've always said that. I know I've told you guys this behind the scenes before. Just wish I would have known everything that he did behind the scenes that I didn't know he was doing. Just so I could have helped him out anyway. I could have at that time, because just did not know about half the stuff he was doing, man. Just a strong person, man. Yeah, I mean, we've. Yeah, don't want to get into that. Don't want to go there right now. Let's not do that. No. But we do miss him absolutely every day. Guys, please like and subscribe to that channel, even if it's just for Ben's sake. Hit that like subscribe button. Please go over to Sodas and see what they're doing over there, because they do have a lot of stuff going on, especially with the Doctor Who and the wrestling stuff with 50. So all that stuff is going to be fun. So wait, I do have a question. Do you have that show? Is that a show coming out, or is that just a one-time thing? Watching wrestling with 50.
Oh, that's going to be an actual show. Like,
okay, gotcha. Okay, perfect.
The thing is with him, I'm not going to go too violent because I know he doesn't do gore that well. But I'm definitely it's a combination of all legit all-time classics, personal favorites, and just ones that shouldn't have worked but did.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I would definitely want to see that because I think he would like wrestling for sure. I would. Yeah, definitely. His reactions will be fun.
It legit is.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I'm definitely excited for that show. I'll definitely check that out for sure. But yeah, guys, please check out the Titans of the Turf we have over here. Check out our Jedi Academy show. We have Gaming in the Multiverse, Geeking Out in the Multiverse, and this show here, Queries from the Multiverse, guys, where I just kind of talk to people and let's get to know each other, and let's see why everybody does this, because everybody gets into the gaming and the geek stuff differently. I mean, I came in through Star Wars. You came in through, wrestling and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
we all love it for different reasons, but the thing is, we all love it. That's what this show is supposed to be about. So, John, thanks again for coming on, man. So glad to have you, John. I'm so sorry. I said John. No, because I'm actually recording with John after this. So
nice.
I was thinking about. Soda, thank you very much for coming on.
Anytime,
seriously, love always talking to you, man. So. Till next time, guys, from the multiverse, this is Don. That's Soda over here somewhere. We will see you guys next time. A little slow on that part.
Yeah, all good.
Can't believe I said John.